So remember in the movie Avatar, you had the Tree of Souls at the center of their forest, that special place, the Tree of Souls. And what I'm telling you is that like the Tree of Souls would have been like the astral web that spread out across the flat earth plane, and these giant trees were silica trees, or like you have silicone chips in a computer. And the astral web, sort of like when you see in Ghostbusters, they show you all these ghosts are green. And what I'm telling you is that before these trees were knocked down, there was a living web, an astral web that spread out across the earth.
The Tree of Life, located in the center of our world, located at the North Pole, and was probably 100 miles tall, and was cut down. This gives new life to the Norse mythology, doesn't it? That Yggdrasil was an actual tree, not just a symbolic tree, but a real living tree.
So what I'm getting at here is that the land of perpetual twilight is beneath us. So we have the sun above our head, which is 32 nautical miles in diameter. It spirals in and spirals out, bringing the seasons. Okay, the land beneath us has the black sun, which is stationary, and it's 800 nautical miles in diameter, and it's fixed because the astral jet has to come shooting out through that hole, hit the parabolic mirror, and shower down on us. Before, there used to be trees that light would go shooting through, and that was like the living, breathing astral web that spread out across the earth. And now that's all been chopped down, and we're living in a mining colony. Everybody is working for worthless paper backed by their own stupidity.
Here he shows a side-by-side comparison of an ancient cave civilization and a modern quarry. They are identical. Another example of a quarry site with limestone cliffs and waste. See the waste from the tools? Here's a picture of one before the vegetation grew on it to cover it up. You can see it's a quarry site. Some quarry sites are as big as whole countries. Countries such as Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan. The deserts are 100% artificial, made from long-term mining activities, that we need to change the names from rocks, canyons, and mountains to quarries, mines, and quarry waste. With these realizations, we see that the controllers are turning our Earth into one giant quarry.
Okay, they're telling you. Okay, what I see is the Holy of Holies at the center of the dish. Every compass points to it. It's the Tree of Life shooting out at the center of the dish. So before all these trees were knocked down, there would have been the astral web which spread out across the earth. And it's just that simple. Right now, you are in the land of the wasteland. Okay, you're in the mad den. You're here to mine gold. You work for worthless paper backed by your own stupidity, and that's your God right there. Yes, you will get your children to school on time. You will pay your bills on time, your taxes on time. That's your God now, and it's worthless paper backed by our own stupidity.
Daniel 4:20. The tree that you saw, which became large and grew strong, whose height reached to the sky and was visible to all the earth, and whose foliage was beautiful and its fruit abundant, and in which was food for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and whose branches the birds of the sky lodged.
What he's saying is that this world that we are living in now, how the nature is and how our whole reality is not how it used to be. And go figure, we can all maybe, go along with that. That's pretty obvious. But to go to the extent that he goes is pretty amazing, because what he's suggesting is that before the flood, before we got altered, before everything got distorted, we had the world was completely different, and all of the trees that we had back then was way, way bigger than the trees that we have now. The trees that we have now are basically just straw in comparison to how big those trees were back in the days. And he's saying that all of the mountains are not rock. It's not what we think. They are the remainings of the giant trees that we had in the ancient times, in the holy times. That they are petrified wood. And his argumentation for supporting his claim is pretty convincing, very convincing. And so they were all cut down, those big trees, all of them.
He then shows us Giant's Causeway in Ireland, which is almost identical Giant's Causeway, because the giants came over from Jotunheim, perhaps, and sawed them down.
From the Bible to Greek mythology, Native American legends to conquistador diaries, nursery rhymes to newspapers, from Josephus and Homer to modern-day historical accounts and archaeological finds, evidence of giant human beings living on Earth is abundant. The execration texts of 12th Dynasty Egypt, 1900 BC, now on display at the Berlin Museum, mention by name the Anakim giants and Ashdod, the city of the giants. One of the most incredible accounts of ancient giants was by Hellenistic geographer Eumachus, who told of two separate 36-foot human skeletons which were allegedly uncovered by Carthaginians somewhere around 300 BC. The historian Josephus, who lived in Hebron, home of biblical giants, wrote that he had on multiple occasions dug up human bones of enormous size. He also wrote about the people of Judah facing the giants of Hebron, saying, "There were till then left a race of giants, who had bodies so large and countenances so entirely different from other men, that they were surprising to the sight, and terrible to the hearing. The bones of these men are still shown to this very day."
Other giant tools were used to make bowls. So look at this one. A bowl Lobo bath, 48 tons. Cannot be made without a precision tool. And obelisks. There's no way this obelisk could be made without a giant lathe. There's no way someone by hand can make it that perfect. It weighs 600 tons. The Alexandrian column. And walls. Wally. This one's in Peru.
Throughout history and all over the world, hundreds of giant skeletons have been discovered, unearthed, recorded, and in recent times photographed and preserved. Thanks to the suppression and censorship by the Smithsonian and other establishment organizations, however, most people are completely unaware of these amazing discoveries. Matt Tufor wrote, "The Smithsonian Institute, National Geographic, the Discovery Channel, and any of the officially sanctioned archaeological expedition teams, between the whole lot of them, have supposedly not been able to cough up one single solitary bone fragment, fossil, or artifact that would evidence these Nephilim. Has the elite-controlled academic mainstream covered something up? Here, then, are a number of these reports about discoveries of the remains of human or humanoid giants. Keep in mind, numerous times these findings were turned over to government authorities, particularly to the Smithsonian, by conscientious and well-meaning citizens, only to have these artifacts then disappear permanently. In 1456, a 23-foot-tall human skeleton was reported and removed from beside a river in Valence, France. In 1577, a 19.5-foot giant skeleton was found under an overturned oak tree in the canton of Lucerne. In 1613, a giant skeleton was found near Chaumont Castle in France and reported to be 26 feet 6 inches tall. In 1829, the Burlington News reported on workers digging into a mound being used to furnish building material for a new hotel in Chesterville, Ohio, when they dug up a giant human skeleton.
And they show us in film Jack and the Beanstalk, but it is inverted. The giants never lived above us, but in the realm next to us, Jotunheim. They fooled us, as we are fooled by using the death rune as well, called the peace symbol. We think it's for peace, when in actuality it is a symbol of death. It is the broken cross of Yggdrasil, the tree of life. It symbolizes the realm of hell, H-E-L, the roots of the tree of Yggdrasil. see the roots? So when we wear this peace symbol, we're giving hell energy, basically.
The trees were huge energy generators, and of course they were producing a lot of oxygen, a lot, so that we had access to way more oxygen back then than we have today. Today we are pretty much oxygen deprived, and we all know how beneficial a lot of oxygen is to our whole system. But you know, our whole body and our whole consciousness have been altered. Our DNA have been tampered with. Our brain, we only use 10% of our brain. We only pull in, there's like a limited amount of oxygen. We just have enough to live.
Okay, it's the green astral light that's shooting out, and that would have gone through the tree of life and spread out all through the astral web. So I recommend you type in your computer, proof plants are conscious. I'm telling you that the plants are conscious, and before you bite into a plant, you need to project that in gratitude. And I'm telling you that water is conscious. You see, Dr. Amamoto will show you that water is programmable.
Those trees were big data collectors. They were storing data and information in their carbon fiber. Also, they were so big. They were like, some of them were 100 miles long and miles upon miles wide.
So if the giants did cut down the trees, then what did they cut them down with? Well, giant tools, of course. Giant rotor excavators that dig into the side of the trees and strip them.
They were cutting down the trees for a reason, because they want to destroy the data, so we couldn't access the data. They were cutting down the trees to cut down the connection, the physical connection between earth and heaven. And they created this world for us where we got distorted, we got memory erased, we got so much diminished in all of our abilities that, you know, they basically just turned us into cattle and possibly created a mini world within God's world, a matrix, an artificial reality.
They love to flaunt their destruction in our faces, don't they? So not only do they have us worship these sites of death, but they put them in their movies and have us pay to see them. Devil's Tower was used in the movie Close Encounters. It was a focal point of the movie. The spaceship looks like a big rotary blade to me. The aliens are really the demons behind the destruction.
At the center of the dish, where the tree of life comes shooting out, hits the parabolic mirror and showers down on us. So when your body falls off of you, you'll have your astral body underneath. And things used to be much different, as you can see. All these trees have been chopped down. And I'm telling you, the land beneath us is where we need to get to before we're dead. That's where we're going to find heaven. The Garden of Eden. See that? At the center of the dish, you see that? It looks like the heavenly buildings in there. The castle of God. It's right there at the center of the dish. There's no way to mess this up.